Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you how to make the Hitch peg in Inventor for the train car project. We are working with a section view of this hitch peg. So we know that because we're looking at a set of diagonal lines. So if you think back to your line conventions, this indicates that this is a section view. We know a lot of information about this part. It's very easy to make. We're going to be using the revolve feature to create it. So the overall height of the part is 0.65 inches. From here to the very bottom of the part is 0.5 inches. My bottom dimension is 0.25 inches. Since we're making a section of the part, we're going to be dividing this by 2. And we also have this diameter of 0.40, which I'll talk about in a second, as well as a spherical radius, SR, which I will also talk about in a minute. So what I'm going to start off by doing is I'm going to make a 2D sketch on the XY plane. I like working with the XY plane because it orients me to my front view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by making this profile. I am not putting any dimensions in at this point. And what I'm going to do is I know that my overall height is 0.65 inches. My height of this piece is 0.5 inches. And my bottom piece has a diameter of 0.25 inches. But since I'm making half of the part, I'm going to divide that by 2, which is 0.125. You can also type in the equation of 0.25 divided by 2. They do the same thing. So the next part I want to look at is this diameter of 0.40. So this is saying that from this edge of the hitch peg to this edge of the hitch peg, the diameter of that circle is 0.40 inches. Now, if I go to the widest part of my cap here to the center of my circle, because that's the dimension that I'm interested in, I'm going to take my diameter of 0.40 and divide it by 2. So dimension from here to here is 0.2. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people make is that people dimension just that line to be 0.2 inches. That is not correct. So do not dimension that line to 0.2 inches. You have to go from the very end of the part to the center of the rotation axis of your object. Now, with spherical radius, we have to make sure that the center of this circle, of this sphere, is resting on our rotation axis. If it is not on the rotation axis, you're going to have some issues. So there's a couple of different ways we can make this. I'm going to show you both of them. The first thing that you could do is you could make an arc from the edge of this point to the edge of this point and just bow it out. You are not done at this point. So what you can do is you can go to dimension and say, all right, I know that the center of my circle has to be in line with my center line. So I can dimension that and force that dimension to 0. Check it out. When I go to dimension and dimension that radius, that arc, I have 0.208, which is what we want. The other thing that you can do is you can go ahead and as long as this circle is touching the edge of this point and the top of this point, you can just dimension this to say 0.208. Sometimes it will over-constrain the sketch, which is why I prefer to just go ahead and make this dimension 0. Or you can delete this, try dimensioning it again. And you'll see that the center of the circle falls right on the axis. Either are totally acceptable. So from here, we're going to right click and finish the 2D sketch. I'm going to go up to revolve, which is a 2-step process. Sometimes it selects the profile for you. If it does, it will automatically turn blue. Then all you have to do is select the rotation axis, which is this tall vertical line here. I'll say OK, and that is my part here. So what you might want to do is check the volume. Oh, actually, one more thing. It also says optional chamfer at the bottom edge. So this is just a finished detail piece. So what you can do is go up here to chamfer. Make sure you type in 0.01. The 45 degrees is standard, so don't worry about modifying that. Click on that bottom edge, and you're going to see that it just gives you a nice little beveled finish there. So if you want to check the volume to make sure that you are correct, go to File, Eye Properties, Physical, and say Update. And if you got 0.036 cubic inches, then you are good to go. Thank you for watching.